Hey, what is up today, YouTube? So it's finally actually been a month since I started my 1500 words, this 1500 words challenge for the month. And I've got a couple of things to talk about on my experiences and what I thought was, useful and things I would change. And, where do I go on from now? So first, I'm going to go ahead and show my Anki statistics. So let me go ahead and minimize myself here. But I'll go ahead and elaborate a little bit more later on in the video. So what we see here on the screen is the cards and my reviews. So this is the deck that I have, and this is my month. And so these are the cards that might be due in the future. It could be changing, so I think the more important ones are down below here. So these are the amount of reviews that I did this month. So looking at it, it's about 7,500 reviews for the month with an average of around 240 reviews per day. I've got 100% of the days studied, so that is always a good thing. But as you can see, lately my reviews have been down in the gutters. So what is the cause of that? I'll go on a little bit more in the video later on, but we'll continue scrolling down. So my previous video, I'm not sure exactly what I had for the numbers here, but I've got 972 mature cards that I should be able to identify just by, or identify very easily by looking at them and knowing their reading. And then 638 cards are young, meaning that I might have to click again on those cards. So review intervals, I don't think that's too important. My card ease is 826 at 130, that's the baseline. And I tended to study from 11 to 1 o'clock in the morning. So I wish I had changed that habit to where I studied in the morning. I think I would have been more productive. But anywho, that's something to talk about in the future. If we look at my answer buttons for this, I've got an 88% answer rate, retention rate for all of my mature cards. And I've got a 79% retention rate for the young cards. And then for my learning ones, I've got 67%, so about half. I think those are decently good statistics. I'm not sure what normally it should be on Anki, but those are my statistics for the month if you're so interested. Okay, so I don't know what's going on with my video, but it might be a little bit laggy. I hope that doesn't bother you too much. Anyways, so a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, more like several things, is what are my experiences to take away from this month. So a couple of things that I learned was that doing all those reviews in Anki can be very, very, very mentally draining. So I generally would advise against it. I don't recommend doing something like this in a time, or I don't recommend doing this during a time that you are busy, and that was one of my major drawbacks for this experiment or this little challenge, because I started it during spring break for my school and tried continuing it with a full load of classes and a job. So that was it started taking up a lot of time, and I just kind of got overwhelmed near the end of it. As you could see with those Anki reviews, they started to taper down more of like a downward slope rather than an upward slope, which is what it would have been if I had more time to do my reviews, most likely. So do I think it's valuable? Yes, I actually think it's a very valuable thing to do. In my opinion, I think my ability to recall words, or to look at recall words and notice what the words were or are, increased by a certain amount of or a certain percentage. I don't know that amount, but I can say that it has increased. It sucks because I'm not talking in facts, but I'm talking in what I feel like. But I do think it's a valuable thing. I want to try to measure that in the future somehow, but I know definitely I feel more comfortable with certain instances, or just going through Japanese content nowadays. What would I change? So honestly, I wouldn't change too much other than try not to be busy during the time that I'm doing it. If it was a summertime and I had a whole month of summer, I think I could totally do this. Like, it would be no problem at all, because each review session would be about 2 hours to 2.5. So that would be completely manageable. And so that is the only thing that I would change. I know I noted this before, or I noted this in one of my videos, but I had changed my. Oh, this is what I would change. So one thing that I changed was my requirements for the my requirements for how I'm passing cards. So my requirements initially for passing the cards was being able to see the kanji, and then know what its hiragana reading was, and then understand what it was. Excuse me. So that proved out to be way too hard to do. I wasn't recalling hiragana readings that much, and I would click again way too often. So that I would not do again. I don't recommend trying to learn 50 new kanji readings per day. So I would change that a little bit. But I do think it's a valuable thing to have the kanji there, just not pass or fail the cards based on not learning the kanji, because 50 new kanji readings per day, you don't know what the kanji are, you're a beginner like me, it gets out of hand real quick, because then they all start morphing into kind of the same thing. So that is what I would change. Honestly, I wouldn't change much else other than that, and I think that's about it for like what I would change. But I do want to talk about what I want to do moving forward. So I did spend about a month doing all of this, and I don't want to lose all the progress that I did for the month. So what I'm going to do is set my new cards per day back down to its 10. It's new cards 10 per day. And then just reviewing all of the cards in Anki, just making sure that I don't miss a day or miss my reviews. Because one thing that did start to happen at the end of the challenge, when I started getting much more busier with school, is I had to I found myself putting my reviews into a custom deck and just doing all my reviews for the day and not getting any new cards in. So I actually didn't get the 1,500 words for this month. I calculated it out on the amount of new cards that I missed, and it came out to around like 960 cards that I was able to learn this month, or new cards that I was able to be exposed to this month. So that's a lot of, it doesn't sound like a lot of vocab, but those are like 960 different kanji combinations, which turn out to be quite a hassle to remember. So the last thing I want to talk about is like, will I ever do this again? And I think so. I will definitely do this on a burst of like a week, but I don't think I want to do it over a burst of like a month, because, or at least not right now, because I'm a beginner, and a lot of the kanji start to morph together. And once I have a more firm understanding of the language and the reading system, definitely I think I could do 50 new ones each day for a month. But right now, probably not. What I do want to move forward with is transitioning over to a, well, I want to transition back to my subs to SRS, and I want to start reading more on Link. So if you don't know what Link is, it is a online website for learning. It's like a graded reader, no, assisted reader. I forgot what they're called, but it's Link. And so what I want to move forward with is reading on that platform, and then getting back to my subs to SRS, because or my sentence mining, because I put that on the back burner. And one of my leading causes for kind of tapering off at the end was my lack of motivation, because Anki cards, let's be honest, Anki cards are not, you don't wake up and be like, oh my god, I'm so excited for my Anki reviews today. At least I didn't ever have that feeling. So I think that's one of the leading factors, the motivation factor. But I do get excited for anime, so I think that would be a nice change, and reading, because those are a couple of my main motivations for learning Japanese. So, anyways, if you watch through all of that, please leave a comment down below. Maybe something that I could do in the future. Like, if you want to subscribe, you can follow my content. I tend to try to release tutorials, and I want to start trying to release more lifestyle Japanese stuff. I don't know. But anyways, I will catch everyone later and see y'all later. Good luck on your studies, and yeah.